What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope you guys have all had a great Tuesday. Hope you guys are ready for another live startup mock draft with rookies for the 2023 Dynasty Fantasy Football season. You guys know what it is, man. We're going to have some fun tonight. Going to talk some fantasy football. So hit that like button on the way in. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you guys are new to the channel. And most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Any fantasy football topics, dynasty or redraft, any NFL topics that you guys want to go over, let me know in the live chat. And we'll get into it tonight. So we are running Superflex startup mock draft tonight, of course. 3 wide receivers, tight end premium. We're going to roll with 8 bench spots tonight. We usually do 10, but I'm going to just try and, I don't know, have a little bit of a quicker stream. I got to be up early tomorrow. So 8 bench spots, and this is a third round reversal mock. So just remember, third round reversal. Okay, let's start the draft. Let's not waste any time there. Oh, I forgot to hit a button. There we go. All right, mock draft is underway. Let's get into it, man. So yeah, third round reversal tonight. I told you guys I would just be kind of rotating that. We've got one dynasty league that voted against third round reversal. We've got another dynasty league that voted for third round reversal. So we'll just kind of switch that back and forth. Maybe that's something we can start putting to a vote on Discord. But for the purpose of tonight's mock, we're rolling with third round reversal, and it's weird, crazy, whatever. I've got the 1.4 in both leagues, so we don't do random orders for the dynasty mocks, just so you guys can try and get practice from your respective spot. But yeah, I just I don't know, I'm in an interesting position where it benefits me whether we do third round reversal or not. So I don't want you guys to feel like, I don't know, you're not necessarily benefiting from it if you're not in one of the leagues that has it, for example. But nonetheless, it is still good practice, and it's good practice to see overall ADPs of respective players. So nonetheless, in terms of fantasy news for the day, NFL news for the day, not a whole lot. We have this report, right, that Bill Belichick, New England Patriots, but specifically Bill Belichick, have been shopping Mac Jones throughout the offseason. So that was interesting. Like, was it really surprising? No. But before we go any further, shortly after, there were reports saying that was completely false. That it was news to the Patriots. There were a couple teams mentioned, like the Raiders, Commanders, for example, right? A handful of other teams. And most of those teams came out and said they didn't know anything about this either. So don't get me wrong, like, it could be smokescreen on both sides. There could be some merit to this. I don't know. I mean, none of us actually really know, right? But from everything I've read, within like an hour or so after that report came out, it seems like it's bogus. It's just off-season fake news. But I don't know. I guess time will tell. I heard like part of the report was that Bill Belichick did not like Mac Jones, quote unquote. I think it said temper tantrums on the sidelines, but like, I think Mac Jones was pretty warranted in, being disgruntled with that offense being ran by Matt Patricia and the play calls throughout the season. So if that's true, I mean, I'm like, Brady had outbursts on the, and that's not fair. Like, Brady can do whatever he wants to do, right? But Brady had outbursts all the time. Got into it with Josh McDaniels, So I don't know. I think it's probably just off-season chit chat. Probably not a whole lot of truth or merit to that respective report, but that did come out today, and that's really all we have in terms of speculation for the day. Now, John Elway and the Broncos are parting ways, which doesn't really necessarily impact anything from a fantasy perspective, but I did think that was interesting news. And don't get me wrong, like, Elway helped theoretically, win the Broncos the Super Bowl, have 2 Super Bowl appearances in his time with the front office. Obviously, as a quarterback, had plenty of success for the Denver Broncos as well. But yeah, Peyton Manning had come out and said that a large reason why he went to the Broncos after leaving the Colts was because of John Elway. So, I do think like that's important to consider. But other than that, since Peyton Manning has not been part of the Broncos, things have been pretty ugly for the Broncos, to say the least. So, anyways, that's like your only other news bit for the day. All right, I'm not quite sure what I want to do tonight. I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit, but I just got auto-picked. Hold on. That was my pick, I swear. That was my pick, so don't hate me. And you guys should know it was probably going to be Amon-Ra with how consistently I draft him. But it did that thing where it's like you have 5 seconds, I'm about to pick them, and then it turns you on auto pick. So, all right, third round reversal's coming. All right, let's see who's up in the chat tonight. Albert, what's going on, man? How we doing? J-Dubs, what's up, man? How we doing? How's everyone doing? Let me know. Walito, what's up, man? Hey, how are you guys? I want to know what you guys have for dinner. Like I said, any fantasy topics, NFL topics, let's get it going. Thomas, is it bad I'm doing Dynasty tonight from the 1.12 if I'm in League 1 in case someone else wanted in? Not necessarily. I mean, it's good practice. No, I mean, so when we put together these Dynasty mocks, I send out the sleeper invite to League 1 and League 2 at the same time. One of the two leagues gets the invite like a split second earlier because I can only go so fast. But, basically, it's just fair game, right? And then probably about 20 to 30 minutes later, I put on Discord for everyone. So, I would say it's Bossman who has the 1.12 in League 2 if he really wanted it. I'm sure he would have said something on Discord and just asked nicely. So, you guys can do that amongst yourselves as well if you don't end up getting your respective spot for the night, or if you think someone else might want it, you can just put that on the mock draft thread on Discord and see if someone else wants it for the night. So, but no, I think you're fine. You're good, dude. What's up, Thomas? How we doing, man? Tox is in the building. What's up, dude? How we doing, man? How's it going? Tox, I guess missed my first pick, but that Mahomes guy isn't too bad. Not at all. Michael going with Burrow at the 1.1. I mean, it is an interesting kind of shakeup for the night. Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts, Allen in that order for the first 4 selections. So, a little bit different. But can he really argue against any of those 4 guys right now? I don't quite think so. So, if he had the conviction, that's what I always say. How we doing, Tox? Glad to see you in the house tonight. After the review, sports in the building. What's up, Pete? How we doing, man? Going to bed, but have a great stream. Everyone smash that like button. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate you so much. Always good to have you in the house. All right, what am I going to do with this next pick as Kyle Pitts is off the board? Let's switch it up tonight. Give me Kelsey. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just give me Kelsey. I just want to start trying out some different builds. I kind of was out of a comfortable place. I want to start trying out some different builds for sure. So, tied in early, very early tonight. And, hey, Kelsey's Kelsey. But he is 33 going into his 11th season. So, realistically, let me know in the chat. In your guys' opinions, how long is Travis Kelce going to play? No wrong answer. Okay, because I am perfectly okay riding Kelce till his retirement. I know like a lot of people will have issues with that in Dynasty, and that is fine. But I'm okay with it. Now, don't get me wrong. Throughout the rest of the draft, there's some work to do now. Now, I usually go for a Goddard and Freiermuth if I'm lucky, or a Freiermuth and Komet, Freiermuth and Evan Ingram, and then a rookie at the end, or maybe a Hayden Hurst or Jawan Johnson at the end of the draft. So there's some work to do, undoubtedly, tonight. I'm going to go Drake London here. Super young. 21. Super, super young. A lot of good wide receivers sitting right there. But already having the veteran presence of Kelsey, I was like, I'm not picking Kupp or Adams or Diggs for that matter. But, all right, there's a little bit of a different start. Allen, St. Brown, Kelsey, Drake London. James, what's the odds Lamar Jackson holds out for the year? Who knows? You guys know when it comes to Lamar Jackson chatter, I've been so back and forth. But I think it's definitely a possibility. It's one of the possibilities we've discussed on the channel for sure. So I think we'll get a more clear potential answer after the draft, but I just don't know, man. I just don't know. I mean, there's a lot of rumors speculating now that the Ravens could be trading up for a quarterback. So, I don't know. Things are getting juicy. And then there was a lot of speculation today that if Mac Jones is truly out, which once again, I think that's kind of bogus, that Lamar is headed to the Patriots. So I don't know. The other bit of interesting off-season reporting that I did want to bring up tonight, which I heard some murmurs of last night, heard more murmurs of today, is that the San Francisco 49ers are potentially interested in getting into the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, so to speak, if the Jets and Packers cannot come to an agreement. And if I'm not mistaken, there are one or two other teams reportedly, supposedly, getting in the mix as well, which is very intriguing. But Aaron Rodgers himself, on the Pat McAfee show, has clearly stated that he wants to play for the New York Jets. That's his intention, right? So, Rodgers could sit back and say, I'm just going to retire if he doesn't want to go to the right team. I don't know. I do think there's some sort of potential trade agreement in his contract, too. I don't know exactly how it works off the top of my head. But, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Because the Jets, Packers sure seem to be at a stalemate. Now they might be waiting for the draft, post-draft, whatever. But I definitely thought that was interesting. Once again, similar to the Mac Jones report, could be complete bogus. But we'll see what happens. All right, just a quick reminder. I just want to make sure you guys know while you're going through tonight's draft, we have 8 bench spots. We usually draft with 10. So just keep that in mind while you're planning out your selections for the night. All right, let's see. All right, Walito says 2 more years for Kelsey. Talk says, I guess 2 productive years and maybe one meh year at most. Nick says 3 more years. Yeah, I think those are all pretty good guesses. And frankly, I'd be okay with that. Because I'm going TJ Hawkinson at the 5.9 tonight. Switching it up, man. Tight end premium build. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens tonight, man. I'm just gonna go with the flow. And I've got 2 young stud wide receivers. Let's just see what happens. Switch it on up. And truthfully, when I was going into tonight's draft with the intention of switching up my build, I was going to go with like a running back at 3.9 and a running back at 5.9. Because that's truly the one build I haven't played around with too much, is going a little bit earlier at the running back position. I usually am holding off. And I'd like to see some builds with, even if it's just a hero RB build. You know, even if it's just Breece Hall in the second round, Josh Jacobs in the third, whatever it is, right? Austin Eckler even in the fourth. You know, so that's what I was planning on doing tonight, but you know what? Instead, we're going heavy tight end. Let's see how that works out, because I know a couple of you guys have ran some heavy tight end builds as well. And I feel good. I mean, look, usually I'm getting my 2 quarterbacks out of the way. I'm stacking up at receiver, a good blend of youth, including a rookie, and a stud veteran in there to help balance it out, and getting a tight end before the 7th and 8th round. But for the sake of tonight, we're going to switch it up. All right, I don't know. There's a couple players I'm considering here. But I'm just worried, especially with Jordan Love gone at 6.2 and Pickett gone at 5.1. I'm going to take Goff off the board. I mean, you got Trey Lance, Will Levis, Captain Kirk, Dangerous, Derek Carr, Geno Smith, Mac and Cheese, Roger Stafford, Purdy, Hooker, Ritter, Jimmy GQ left outside of Goff. I don't know. I don't pick again until the 7.9. I just don't want to miss out on a quarterback that I feel confident enough in a super flex format. Cat says London sniped. My bad, broski. My bad. Tox picking at 1.2 with third round reversals in no man's land for QB2. Yeah. You could have gotten Richardson. But that's about it, right? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He went at 3.2. Danny Dimes was there. You got J-Lo. Taylor says, think it would be foolish for Lamar to sit out. If no one wants him now, who's going to want him after he's been sitting on the couch? Ooh. Yeah, truthfully, for me, right? I just want the Lamar Jackson situation resolved. And I know we have some Ravens fans in the chat drafting with us. I'm sure you guys more than anyone want it resolved. But I love Lamar Jackson as a football player. I really do. So, you know, whether he's going to sit out, stay with the Ravens, sign a franchise tag, get traded, whatever it is, get released, I don't know, whatever it is. I just want it to be settled going into this season. I want to know the fantasy implications around Lamar Jackson if he's on a different team. If he sticks with the Ravens, what does it look like? I want to know what's going to happen with Lamar Jackson. And I really hope he doesn't sit out for an entire year. But we'll find out. We'll survive if he does. So I was thinking about this. I bought 2 jerseys at the beginning of last season. Because during the regular season, when we stream, I always wear a jersey. Can you guys guess what 2 jerseys I bought? They've both been on stream multiple times. I'll give you guys a minute to try and answer that. Coast to Coast in the house, what's going on, man? Hello, hello. Appreciate you drafting with us tonight. Cat says great Cup value. Where'd he go at the 5.3? Yeah, I mean, I think Cup and Adams in the 5th round, like, I get it, guys. It's Dynasty. You want to have that balance of youth and I totally get it. But I still think just adding that veteran-esque receiver at the right value will go a very long ways for your respective rosters. So, Cup in the 5th, Adams in the 5th, I think are absolutely great picks, for sure. Tox Rogers was golfing and said, I'm not going to San Fran. Someone as a joke, but I still think it was true. I think he holds a grudge against him still. It would be strange. I mean, how many times in the past 3-4 years has he lost to the Niners in playoffs? At least twice, right? Yeah. I think he wants to play for the Jets. I still do. I still think Rodgers ends up with the Jets. But I do think the reports coming out in regards to another team like the Niners potentially swooping in are definitely interesting. All right, Nick going with the Lance and Purdy selections. I like it. On top of Kyler. Thomas says light on tight ends tonight. I mean, honestly, so there's only, what, 4 tight ends off the board? Yeah. You're not the only one, man. And I think there's such good value in the 8th round, in the 9th round, 10th, 11th. I mean, just really, there's a lot of good value at tight end in late rounds. This is just a build I've been wanting to try out on top of some builds where I go RB a little bit earlier. And I don't see myself, unless Kelsey just comes at what I personally believe is too good of a value to pass up, I don't see myself personally conducting this strategy. But that's kind of the point of, just trying out different builds and getting a feel for them, right? Okay. Give me Sharby. Give me Charbonnet. Yeah, so I'm definitely happy I went Goff at 6.4, seeing Levis, Lance, Rodgers, Purdy, Geno, and Carr gone. I guarantee Goff would be gone by now. So, yeah, I needed... Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of good skill position players there. Hollywood Brown, Scary Terry, Flowers, Johnston, Dotson, Kirk. A couple of running backs, but I had to go Goff there. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cousins, Wilson, Jones, there are some options here, but I like Goff, so I'm good at that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and adjust my face. There we go. Still want to end up blocking the draft board. Okay. Ooh, where do I want to go with this next pick? I don't know. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys about something. It doesn't feel good to say it, but I'm starting to have second thoughts about Isaiah Pacheco. I really am. All right, I'm going to take Ridley off the board. I need some receiver help here. I think Ridley's a good value in the 8th round. I've been much higher on Christian Kirk personally. And Ridley's a little bit older. It's just strange, right? When a player misses a year, like, it just feels like, I don't know if that makes sense. It might not be true for everyone, but it feels like they're younger because, like, that year of football is removed from our minds, if that makes any sense. So, but he is 28 going into his 6th season. But I think it's a good value in the 8th round. I almost went Godwin. Godwin is actually, believe it or not, Godwin is younger than Calvin Ridley. And it doesn't feel like Godwin has been around the league for much longer. But obviously players come out of college at different ages and everything. So, and Ridley has been in the league, or excuse me, Godwin has been in the league longer than Ridley. It's just, he's younger. So, all right, yeah. Let's talk some Isaiah Pacheco because I don't know why. I mean, Pacheco's been my guy. I still like Pacheco, don't get me wrong. But am I going to be 110% confident leaning on Pacheco? I don't think so. And I've said it throughout the whole offseason, right? Like, it's an Andy Reid-led offense. Who in the world knows what's going to happen in the next year or two, other than Patrick Mahomes is going to be the quarterback, and if Kelsey wants to play, he's going to be their tight end, right? So, but it's just the nature of the running back position. I mean, you can really argue for a majority of running backs, like, they're disposable and replaceable, unfortunately, because I love the running back position, right? But it's just the nature of NFL football these days. So I think that Pacheco could... listen, like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is there are several running backs who I think have very positive outlooks for at least the next 2 seasons, maybe the next 3 seasons. And I think Isaiah Pacheco is one of them. And I think we just have to get used to the idea that if you don't have a Bijan or a Walker, Hall, C-Mac, Eckler, probably Taylor, Jacobs, Barkley, maybe Pollard's in that, Chubb, Harris. Like, there's some top-tier running backs who you can feel pretty good about. But even some of those guys I just mentioned are still on a somewhat short leash, you know? And I just think you have to understand at the running back position that a lot of running backs are on a short leash with their respective teams. And then it's just a matter of where they land. Like, let's say Isaiah Pacheco has 3 really good years with the Chiefs within that offense, right? And they've drafted another running back and they're just looking to simply move on, right? It happens so often because rookie running backs are so cheap, and it's not like veteran running backs aren't, on good contracts for NFL teams, but I don't know. There goes Pacheco at 9.7. Like, I still love Pacheco in the 9th round. Akers and Sanders, the only other running backs gone. Like, I still like him at his current value, but I just don't know how much I want to lean on him at the moment. But like I said, you could say that about so many different running backs, right? All right, I'm going to take Monty off the board because I love Sharby to death. But sometimes it takes a little bit of time for rookie running backs to really get going. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to depend on what team Charbonnet goes to as well. But, regardless, at this point in the offseason, we just don't want to be relying on a rookie really at any position until we know more about their situation, what offense they're a part of, all that good stuff. So, Walito says, Pacheco is not a franchise running back. He'll be replaced. Coast to Coast says Pacheco has been overrated. Glad he got a ring, though. Chase says John's the GOAT. Thanks, Chase. It's the nicest thing I heard all day. It made my day. I appreciate it. What's up, Chase? Kat says, love Pacheco as a player, but I wouldn't trust any Chiefs running backs. Yeah, that's fair. I love Pacheco, too. Oh, man, I forgot about Tyler Lockett. That's a good pick, Michael. Hold on. Let me make this next pick because I'm like halfway paying attention, and I should be fully paying attention. Or else I'd have Tyler Lockett on my team. Actually, I was probably going to go for a stable running back there no matter what. And you know what? It's tough. I'm going to go A.J. Dillon. It's so hard. Here's the next conversation. Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon, purely from a dynasty perspective, who are you going to draft? Purely dynasty. I was just thinking, like, short term, I think I still lean Aaron Jones. But long term, I'm probably going Dillon. You know? This is a light wide receiver team right now. I am not used to that. I put so much emphasis. I mean, we're playing a 3 wide receiver build, including the super flex. We have 3 flexes. So I'm just not used to that. I'm not. But we switched it up tonight. We are playing Titan Premium as well. So. All right. Where were we? Katz is repping that Detroit squad. I like it. I didn't even realize, but you're 100% right. Amon-Ra, Goff, and Monty. And I know Hawkinson is with the Vikings, but I somewhat, in my head, still associate him with the Lions. Chase, that seems low for Monty. Yeah, in Dynasty, he's going to be pushed back a little bit. But sometimes he does go closer to like that Dalvin Cook, Rashad White range. I mean, even, sometimes in the same areas, Mixon and Swift. So I actually think Monty at the 9.9 is a pretty good value. But I would say anything past the 9th round would be a fantastic value. But yeah, we've seen Monty, and I think we'll see more of it throughout the offseason, kind of shift around in ADP a little bit. So, we see a lot of mocks where Monty's gone before Swift and vice versa, where Swift is gone before Monty. So, we see a lot of mocks where they're picked like back to back and things like that. So we'll see what happens. But I like Monty at the 9.9 for sure. So. But yeah, like I said, so we do see Aaron Jones gone the same round at the 10.11. Dynasty, purely dynasty. Would you guys rather have A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones? And it's kind of tough to answer right now because we don't really know what this offense is going to be, what it's going to look like. We're assuming Jordan Love's the starter. But we don't have like a sample size, right? But I do think that Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon can coexist. So, I don't know. Just interested in what you guys think. And when we're looking at it, right? Aaron Jones is age 28 going into his 7th season. A.J. Dillon is age 24 going into his 4th season. Just for reference. Chase says Aaron Jones hasn't slowed down yet. Yeah. I like Jones a lot. These are RB9 last year, RB10 the year before, RB5, RB2. So his last 4 seasons. All right, let me get ready to make this pick. I also just personally like A.J. Dillon. James Cook is kind of interesting right here. But I'm getting more and more worried that the Bills are going to draft another running back. Man, this just this keeps happening, but I keep ending up with Juju Smith-Schuster on my squad. Chat, help me out. How do you guys feel about Juju? I mean, right now, I'm assuming he's the wide receiver 1 for the Patriots. He's age 26 going into his 7th season. You know, we're in the 11th round of this mock. I mean, I literally, I hate New England Patriots wide receivers. But I don't know. I feel like he's a pretty decent value where he's going. Is that, am I an idiot? I don't know. I don't know. I might be. There are a couple players I like to draft here, but I still need wide receiver help. I'm going to go Alan Lazard right here. Age 27 going into his 6th season, just for your guys' reference. What I need at receiver, I mean, I've got London and St. Brown, but towards the end of this mock, I do need to get some help in terms of youth. I was really keeping an eye on Josh Downs, who went at the 9.4 to Nick. I didn't stand a chance at getting him, but Josh Downs is my guy right now. But I still think there's plenty of good late round. I think there's going to be some surprises in terms of some of the later round, so to speak. I mean, some of these guys could go in the 2nd or 3rd round. Like I said, quote-unquote, later round wide receivers of this class. I think Rashee Rice looks really good, for example. Who's not going incredibly late in Dynasty marks, but Marvin Mims, another guy who I really like. Cedric Tillman just went at the 11.8. I really like Tillman right now, too. So, and there are a couple other names you could throw in there, too. Raheem Jarrett, for example. So, we'll see. Yeah, how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about James Cook as well? I just don't think I can trust a Bills running back. It's not anything against the running backs that the Bills have had. It's the way that offense is ran. I don't know. I feel like the Bills are a team where running backs go to die. So, I don't know. Chase, Love has never thrown a pass to Aaron Jones in any game. That is very interesting. That is one thing that worries me. Yeah, I mean, I guess how large of a sample size do we really have out of J-Lo? Played week 12 at Philly, right? He had... Or did he play that full game? Or did he come in for Rod? He came in for Rodgers, that's right. That's right. 9 passing attempts, 6 completions, 113 passing yards, and a TD. But how out of reach was that game? I remember that game, but obviously not too well. And then 2021, played against Kansas City. 34 passing attempts, 19 completions, 190 passing yards, 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 23 yards on the ground. That's really about it. I don't know, like, preseason. I can't pull that up off the top, or on Sleeper or anything, so. I was curious when Hendon Hooker was going to go. I almost took Hooker over Lazard. I almost took Izzy as well. He went at 13.2. But here we are. I mean, we got the Lizard Man, so like, I feel okay. All right, guys, keep in mind, after the 13th round, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more picks. 2 less picks than usual tonight, so just try and keep that in mind. All right, multitude of players I like on the board, but I'm gonna have to do something ugly here. I'm gonna have to pick Jimmy G again. I've you know, when we were first doing a lot of our dynasty mocks, startup mocks, I should say, I was pretty big on getting 3 quarterbacks like before the 6th or 7th round. Because generally speaking, in the Superflex format, it's usually what I do, for the most part. Unless I just hit 2 guys early who I really, really like. You know, like this past year was in Superflex League, I got Herbert and I got Hurts. I have no idea how that happened, but it happened. And I drafted one more quarterback at the end of the draft, named Baker Mayfield, and that was it. And truthfully, there were a couple games between Hurts getting hurt and like Herbert's bye week where I had to stream quarterbacks. But other than that, I really, and Gardner Minshew being one of them, but I really didn't have issues at quarterback with those 2 guys. So I don't know if you hit on the right guys, but it's so different in Dynasty, right? Because you're thinking just so much further down the road. So, all right, I feel like I just need to go best available running back or receiver here. Yeah, give me Kayshawn. Lots of good names across the board. Lots of good names across the board. And really, that's what I'm going to have to do for the remainder of this draft. I need to get some help at running back. And I probably need to grab at least 1 more receiver. I'll probably go 3 more running backs and 1 more receiver to finish out this draft. Tox says, I'm afraid to draft either in Dynasty, and I'm a Packers fan. That's completely fair. AJ hurt me last year after how much I went for him. Yeah. He hurt us all, bro. Yeah. But definitely good perspective. Coming from a true Packers fan. I still like Dylan. At the right value. At the right value. But I also feel semi-queasy about it. Thomas, I was just deciding between Tucker or Herbert at the 11.1. I like both. I mean, being that you got Keandre Miller at 13.1, I may have taken a shot on Herbie. But I like Tucker a lot. Actually, I think everyone who won the 11th round at the position, Tucker, Connor, Kamara, Herbie, Ackney, and Williams are all good values. Cats, if he can't make it with Mahomes, I don't want anything to do with him, especially on Pats, in reference to Juju. That's fair. I do feel like when Juju was in his groove this year, he played okay. I mean, 933 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. We had that stretch, week 6 through week 9, 18 or more fantasy points in all those games. And then really came back to earth. Had a couple spurts, 22 points in week 14, 16 in week 15. But I definitely get what you're saying. I also just think the way that the Chiefs' offenses ran, like, other than Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, the target share that has to go around each season. I mean, last year, you had Juju, you had McCole Hardman, you had MVS, you had Sky Moore, you had Travis Kelsey. CEH was a thing in the beginning of the season. You had Pacheco, you had Jared McKinnon, Kadarius Toney come on. It's not really a great offense unless there's an absolute stud who comes in at receiver like a Tyreek Hill. It's just not really great offense from a fantasy perspective for wide receivers. So, but I get what you're saying for sure. And yeah, I think the criticism of taking Juju is pretty warranted. I don't know. Wide receiver ones are always going to be valuable, regardless of what offense they're in or what team they're on, to some degree. All right, let's see. Taylor says lots of wide receiver steals in the 9th and 10th. Yeah, I loved D-Hop. I was looking at pretty heavy when Cats took him. I love Josh Downs. I think Cooper is still a good value. Hyatt, Tony. I mean, even some veterans like Evans and Allen and Lockett, Mike Williams there as well. So, yeah. Box and the Jack, what's up, my dude? Hello. How we doing, man? All right, give me more receiver help. It's not youthful, but give me Jones. I don't want to miss out on. I don't know. There are a couple of receivers sitting here that I really like. I'm not going to name them, just in case, but a couple of guys I really like. But truthfully, I'm probably just going to have to finish out at the running back position. I don't know. There's some interesting running backs sitting here. But ultimately, I'm going to go Rashad Penny. I can't stay away from Eagles running backs. Michael tried to snipe me tonight. I saw that, Michael. He took Gainwell in the 13th. I did see that, Michael. I know you're out there, bro. There are some receivers available that I really like. But I think I just need to finish out, try and get 6 running backs on this team total. Receivers, we got Amon-Ra, Drake London, Calvin Ridley, Juju, Allen Lazard, Kayshawn, Zay Jones. I mean, it's an interesting build tonight for sure. Nick, I love the selection of Downs. Yeah, I thought he might fall it a little bit further, but I love him at the 9.4 for you. Talks sleeper ranking rookies so low, I'll probably be able to snag a second wide receiver in the really late rounds of the draft. I mean, at the moment, it stands that way. The moment it does. But after the NFL draft, and don't forget for our dynasty leagues, we're not drafting until after the NFL draft, they will completely change ADP, especially in a dynasty setting. Talk says, I'm ready for Love to start a game with the game plan designed for him. That's fair. Love has fed Dobbs in his limited snaps. Yeah, I am really liking, I've talked about that a little bit. I like Romeo Dobbs at his current value. I mean, at the 13.10 tonight, age 22 going into his second year. So Dobbs had some growing pains, but he had some good games too, and he was hurt. 425 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 13 games. So I think it's a good note. I think Packers go after Jonathan Mingo on day 2. I won't be surprised if they add receiver help. Just as a general note. How do you guys feel about Michael Thomas? In the 17th round goes to Walido. We've seen MTs can't guard Mike's ADP just all over the place. Smoking the Cat, what's up, bro? Hello. How we doing, man? Thank you for stopping by. Always good to see you. You're good, Michael. You're good. Wouldn't be a mock. I mean, Lockett, that was my fault. If I saw Lockett at the 9.9, I probably would have taken him. But realistically, I needed to take a somewhat stable running back there. So you probably did me a favor. I was hoping that DJ Moore would fall out. But that you probably did me a favor there, too. Because I needed to take a quarterback. And I'm happy I got Goff. But, you know, I will say, realistically, I'd probably take DJ Moore over Hawkinson. You know, so... Who was Team 6 that we lost? Oh, okay. Oh well. Alright, I need to pick a running back here. Give me McIntosh. Give me my boy Kenny. Alright guys, don't forget the 18th round is our final round for the night. We usually have 20 rounds. I've said it a couple times tonight, I know. Saying it one more time. A couple running backs sitting here that I like. There goes Baker. Who do you have at quarterback, Michael? Burrow, Russ, Tannehill, Baker. I like it. All right, give me Evan Hoole here all day long. That puts me with Charbonnet, Monty, Dylan, Rashad Penny, McIntosh, Evan Hoole. I mean, it's not like I ever come at it with like a super strong running back room. And the one night I did, you guys all said my team was way too like win now oriented. So, all right, we're wrapping up here. So, you guys are already asking for me to go over teams. We'll go in and take a quick look. Taylor's, no, Walito says can't pass on MT in the 17th. Yeah. In the 17th, why not, right? Talks, might as well take him. He's a starter 1 week per year. Fair enough. All right. Walito's up first at the 1.10. Lamar, Stroud, Cousins. At this point in the offseason, I'm okay with it because you can play the hypothetical, but we really got to get that Lamar situation cleared up. But Lamar's playing this year. Let's play the hypothetical. You got Cousins in your super flex. You see what happens with Stroud. Either way, long-term, Stroud is a good pick at the 2.3. Kincaid, Otten, Higbee, kind of a late-round tight end build. In terms of a late-round build, I don't mind this. I like Bellinger a hair more than Higbee. Just, I don't know. I'm worried about Higbee. I am. Don't get me wrong. Had a good season last year. His best season. But he is older than you might think. He's 30 going into his 8th year. But in the 18th round, I'm not going to knock you for it. I mean, you already got Kincaid and Otten, so to get an older piece, you know, it's a fine pick. I take it back. Waddle, Cup, Hollywood, Evans, Cooks, Claypool, MT. Yeah. Good receiver room. I mean, Hollywood's 25, Waddle's 24. So if you could have sprinkled in a rookie somewhere, I would have liked that. I mean, yeah, Claypool's 24 as well. But other than that, receiver room looks solid for sure. Najee, Mixon, Sanders, Connor, McBride. Very good running back value throughout this draft. Kind of just sporadically picking up value. I love the running back room. Yeah, I think this is a good team. How do you feel about it, man? Like I said, I'd like to see one rookie receiver potentially in there. And then, you know, the Lamar situation is what it is. But I think it's a good team. Yeah. Michael, want a review, huh? What we got tonight, broski? We got Burrow, Russ, Tannehill, Mayfield. I mean, I think it's fair to say that this quarterback room makes me a little uncertain. Outside of Burrow, obviously. But you got Burrow, then you're probably starting Russ, then you just kind of have Tannehill and Mayfield as placeholders. It is what it is. You get a rookie mock next year. Or rookie draft next year. It is what it is, right? Freiermuth and Mayer. I love Freiermuth, so I think you can lean on him pretty heavily. But sometimes tight ends take 2-3 years to get going. So Mayer, great prospect. Didn't have the best combine. Doesn't really matter. Probably not. Great tape on him and everything. So yeah, I think you're fine. Once again, you'll have a rookie draft next year, right? But let's look at the receivers and running backs. We got Brown, Metcalf, Moore, Johnson, Lockett, Boyd. Good receiver room. But I would potentially try, similar to Alito's team, to add a rookie receiver in there. But it is a good receiver room. Keep in mind, though, you do have Metcalf and Lockett. I'm not totally against that. If they have a bad week offensively, they're in a bad place, right? And it's just going to be so hard. Like, how do you sit either of those guys, right? All right, Barkley, Stevenson, Jamal Williams, Zach Evans, Gainwell, Deuce Vaughn. I'm fine with this running back room. I actually quite like it. You got 2 rookies in there. You got Gainwell, Jamal, good values there. Barkley and Stevenson to lead the way. I'm okay with that. Sorry, by the way, my phone has gone off a couple times. Sorry if that's annoying. But, yeah, Michael, I think it's a pretty good team, man. Try to sprinkle in a rookie receiver, potentially. Other than that, I think you're fine. I mean, quarterback, you know. We'll see what happens. Taylor, please roast my team at the 1.11, even though it makes me sick to look at. Okay. We'll do it. Deshaun, Richardson, Mac and Cheese, Hooker. So, down the stretch, right? Hooker and Richardson could bring a ton of value, or they could be busts. So you got a little bit of a question mark there. Upside, big. Potential downfall definitely exists. Then Watson and Jones, if we're going off the last 2 years, I mean, I guess for Watson, we're just going over the past year, right? I just don't think the ceiling's very high. Now, don't get me wrong. Watson, you can argue that the ceiling still exists at a high level, but don't get me wrong, you know, he gets a full off season and all that, time to build chemistry, so. But all I'm saying is if you have to lean on Mac Jones and the Browns look similar to what they were last year, the quarterback play is going to be slightly questionable, right? But if everything pays off here and if Mac Jones can even get back to what he did his rookie season, you know, I actually think that you're in an okay place. Because I mean, Mac Jones did not have too bad of a rookie season. From a fantasy perspective, it was kind of ugly. A lot of inconsistency. But when we look at Watson, it's like, you know, he had a good game against the Commanders. And I guess against the Steelers. I don't know. Chase, McLaurin, Kirk, Coop, Mims, Pierce, Hutchinson. Love the receiver room. Great blend here. I think you hit on some good youth in terms of late round value. Mims and Hutchinson. Pierce, I love that. Kirk and Chase still pretty young. McLaurin and Cooper, not at an awful age either. So I love this receiver room, man. Chubb, Tony, Jones, Izzy, Mitchell. I'm fine with this running back room. Fine. Knox and Bellinger. Almost forgot tight ends. I'm okay with that. You'll probably be drafting a tight end next year's rookie draft, but I like Knox at his current value, and I like Bellinger at his current value. But is the upside super high? We'll see. I mean, Knox was super disappointing this past season and tied in 8 in 2021. So it's going to depend on if him and Allen can get it going again. But receiver room looks great. Running back room looks good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to knock you too much at the quarterback position. Like I said, it could really pay off long term. Really pay off. Or you could be in a bad position. That's all I'm saying. Devil's advocate, right? But I don't think it was as bad as you were leaning, you know. J-Dubs. Staying quiet lately, man. Folk honed in on the craft, man. Yeah, going back to the build we've seen before. Wow. Okay. Danny Dimes, Geno, Sam Howell, Stetson Bennett. Interesting. I mean, you're leading on Jones and Smith. They got to replicate what they did last year. If they don't, you're going to be really queasy. And you got Howell and Bennett to see what happens. Good value on Howell and Bennett. Njoku, Ferguson, Laporta. Yeah, good tight end room. But keep in mind, I do think that the Cowboys could definitely draft a tight end. And we don't know if it's going to be Hendershot or Ferguson going into next year. I mean, they both have played, you know, same amount of time, right? Ferguson, 174 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Hendershot, 103 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Not very far off, and that's always Schultz being there. So don't forget. Just don't forget. We're not too far removed from the Cowboys being in a position. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Who was the Cowboys tight end going into 2021 on their depth chart outside of Schultz? Hold on. I have to figure this out because it's totally slipping my mind. Blake Jarwin. Okay? Blake Jarwin. So going into the season, everyone thought Blake Jarwin was going to be the starter for the Cowboys at tight end. Boom, out of nowhere, it's Dalton Schultz. Now he's a Houston Texan, right? So just keep that in mind. Cowboys are weird at tight end. All right, let's get to the tasty stuff. J.J. Lamb, Higgins, Judy Burks is just stupid. I would still consider, like, just because it's a 3 wide receiver set, I would try to sprinkle in a rookie receiver somewhere at the end here. Like, yes, you're pretty much set. Like, but injuries do happen, even if it's a 1 week injury, right? Especially with a guy like Higgins, for example, or Judy. So, and then Burks has been pretty inconsistent in his rookie season as well. So, like, you're pretty much set, but you want to have some ammo for down the road, right? I mean, there's always trades and the waiver and everything. But Rachaad White, Akers, Mitchell, Madison, Gibson, Singletary. Like, I am okay with this running back room. Is it perfect? No. White and Akers are great value. I like this build you're playing around with, though. Yeah, I like this team. What am I going to say? It's an interesting approach. Maybe I'll try it out myself soon. All right, Thomas at the 1.12. What's up, Tommy? How we doing, man? All right, Kenny Pickett, Rodgers staph infection. Listen, I like Pickett, but I like him as a QB3 at maybe a QB2. I like Pickett. Don't get me wrong. I think Pickett's going to take a step forward next year. I just don't know how much I want to rely on him. Then Rodgers and staph infection, I wouldn't be hopeful for more than 2 years. You could argue 1 year. So, are you okay for now? You're going to start Rodgers and Pickett, have Stafford on the bench? Sure. But down the stretch, you might look back and feel a little bit queasy about it. All I'm saying. Ingram and Musgrave, I'm okay with. But with how deep this tight end class is, guys, I'd just be very careful. You know, and especially with us not knowing landing spots yet. We just be careful because some of these tight ends could end up on teams where they're not really going to have significant playing time for a year or two, or unless someone gets injured. It's a very deep tight end class. So, like, I would probably have taken Trey McBride there. And truthfully, you may have even been able to land Musgrave at the 16th, 17th even, because it was back-to-back picks. But Trey McBride, even Noah Fant, potentially. But I like Musgrave a lot as a prospect, so I'm not going to knock you too much. But, Ingram is a little bit up there in age is all, at age 28, and I love Ingram, so I just think, I don't know. Long term, it's an okay move to get Musgrave here, but if something happens with Ingram, you could be in a bind. You know what I'm saying? All right, Walker and ETN is gorgeous. Tucker and Miller, good values there. Fournette and Wilson, I mean, in terms of taking veteran running backs to help balance things out at the end of your draft, good value. And he got Walker and ETN, but just keep in mind, right, running back position, more injuries than any other offensive position, right? But other than injuries, you're set with your 2 starting running backs, right? All right, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Flowers, Hyatt, Robinson, Osborne, Odell. I mean, pretty good wide receiver value throughout the draft. It's a very young wide receiver room, which I'm not going to knock you for, but maybe, and I like Flowers a lot, and I like Hyatt. But maybe instead of Flowers, you go Kirk, Godwin, D-Hop. I don't know. I was looking at the board. All I'm saying is you sprinkle in a veteran receiver when you could, just in case. But I like Wilson. I like Pickens. I think Flowers and Hyatt are going to be good, but we just don't know their landing spots. Robinson and Osborne were good values, and then Odell in the 18th I'm not going to knock you for. So, but ultimately, you have a starting roster here, a pretty good team. All right, Cats at the 1.5. Herbie, Prescott, Levis. I'm okay with that. Say no more. Pitts, Goddard. I'm okay with that. Say no more. Eckler, Swifty, Harris, Chase Brown, Foreman, Warren. I'm okay with that too. J-Mo, D-Hop, Mike Williams, Tillman, Sky Moore, Reed, and Sky. I mean, I like that you got those last 2 rookie receivers in there. I really like this team, but I'm a little bit torn at wide receiver. You're going to start J-Mo, Hopkins, and Mike Williams, right? Sky Moore is still a big question mark, very young in the Andy Reid offense. They want him to be a big piece of next year. Tillman is a great value in the 11th. So, but you just never know with rookie receivers, right? Reed and Scott, good values. Outside of receiver, I really like this team. I don't dislike your receivers necessarily. I'm just, got to kind of play the what-if scenarios, right? So, but ultimately, I think immediately you'd be in an okay position. I mean, you're starting Herbie and Prescott, Eckler and Swift, if he doesn't get hurt for the 100th time. J-Mo, Hopkins, Mike Williams. And that's the thing, right? When you start to think about those next 2 flex spots, it's probably Foreman and Tillman or more. So I think it could work out. I don't know. I really like this team. I'm a little bit worried about depth, but I do think long term, you're in a pretty good spot. Some good young pieces for sure. Klondike, what's up, bro? How we doing, man? All right, let's see. Let me make sure I'm caught up. Okay. Fields, Carr, Gardner. I mean, sometimes you just get in that scenario where, you have your starter, you got your super flex guy, and you just don't feel like the value is right. And you just take a guy like Baker to end your draft. Or like I did tonight, where I just took Garoppolo, So I'm okay with it. But you'll probably be drafting a quarterback sooner rather than later in the coming years, right? Waller, Washington, McBride. I'm okay with that. You even things out with the Waller inconsistencies due to injuries. Get 2 young guys. 2 young guys I like, too. Hall, Henry, Cook, Kamara, Bigsby, Chuba. I love the running back room. Yep, good at that. Don't get me wrong. Probably be drafting a running back next year, but I think it's fine to come out of a starting mock draft with those guys. Olave, Diggs, Adams, Keenan Allen, Mooney, Chark. Yeah, I'd like to see a rookie sprinkled in here somewhere, but still a good wide receiver room. I might take Hutchinson over Chark. But I love the receiver room other than that. But yeah, you just want to balance out Diggs, Adams, Allen, and even Mooney, who's a little bit older than you might think. And then you got Chark too, right? But Mooney's 25 going to his 4th season, so. But, like, you got Olave, Diggs, and Adams to start for the moment. You can flex Allen, you can flex Mooney, so. I mean, thinking about this build, Fields and Carr, Waller, Olave, Diggs, Adams, Hall, and Henry, then flexing Cook and Keenan Allen, or Keenan Allen and Kamara if he's not suspended. I mean, like, this is a good team. I like this team. You know, I'm always going to play devil's advocate in both ways for you guys. Nick, I think Tim Patrick will be good this year. I mean, I love my boy Timmy P. But I'm sleeping on him right now, I feel like, because he is coming off the injury. Cats, I feel like we all got weird this draft for sure. Nick, what did you do tonight, man? Kyler, Lance, Purdy. Ooh, I would not feel okay with this quarterback room. You got Lance and Purdy coming off of injuries. Purdy coming off a significant injury, which could cause him to miss part of the year. Kyler's going to miss part of the year. Lance might start, he might not. Sam Darnold might start. Lance might be hurt. Lance might be traded. Too many question marks, and the things that aren't question marks are injuries. I'd be really worried, just 100% with you, man. Now, down the stretch, like, I like Purdy, Lance, and Kyler, but in a Superflex format, you'd be in a bind immediately. Mandrews and Schultz, I'm okay with. Maybe sprinkle in a rookie at the end, but I'm okay with that. Bijan, Javonte, Kareem Hunt, Pirine, CH. I'd like to see, outside of Bijan, some more youth. And then you've got, like, we don't know where Hunt's going to be. Javonte coming off the injury. You got Pirine to kind of, like, balance out the Javonte pick. But then you're just looking at a committee. Then CH is a big question mark. He's super young. 23, so like he's a decent value there regardless. But Hill, Downs, Tony, Davis, Rice, DPJ, Rondell Moore, and Collins, a very good receiver room. Yeah, I mean, you're starting Hill. I would say Downs and Tony. I love the value of Rice. I love the value of DPJ, Moore, and Collins. So. Then you got Davis in there. Why not? So, yeah. Running back room, even though you got Bijan, some problems. Quarterback, I'd be very nervous about. Tight end is fine. Receivers look good to me. All right. Let me try and get caught up here. Let's see. All right. We're pretty much caught up. Okay, we got everyone's reviews. Let's go. All right, time to roast me, and then we'll wrap up the stream. How long have we been streaming for? Yeah. Just over an hour. All right. I got Allen at the 1.4, which is interesting. Goff and Garoppolo. I mean, even with this quarterback room, which is not that bad, you know, Goff is older than you might think. He's 28 going into his 8th season. And, like, Goff has got to repeat or build upon what he did last season, you know. Or else I'm looking at a top 25, top 20 quarterback as my super flex. Jimmy G, a nice placeholder. Got to stay healthy, though. I would probably be drafting a quarterback in next year's rookie draft. Sorry, I keep saying that. Kelsey and Hawkinson, I did not touch tight end again. I spent too much value early on to take one late. But realistically, as much as I love Kelsey, as much as I love T-Hawk, you probably still want to sprinkle in a rookie or a second-year guy like a McBride, Washington, Otten, Musgrave, Bellinger at the end of this draft. We did only do 8 rounds tonight, though. Amon-Ra, Drake, London, Ridley, Juju, Lazard, Kayshon Boutte, and Jones. I don't know. I'm just so used to my wide receiver room being loaded. Amon-Ra and Drake London I like. Then I think Ridley was pretty good there, but I don't know why I keep drafting Juju. Lazard I like in the 12th. I had to get a rookie somewhere in there. And I don't mind Zay Jones in the 15th. But yeah, I mean, I've got 7 receivers. It's not too bad. Charbonnet. Sorry, Charbonnet. I'm going to say it both ways. Monty, Dillon, Penny, McIntosh, and Houle. I do like this running back room. It's not great. It's pretty young, too, but you guys know I don't put a ton of value on the running back position in Dynasty builds, so I don't think it hurts necessarily, but I'd rather just get additional receivers, stack up at receiver, being that we're playing 3 receivers, tight end because we're playing tight end premium, and quarterback because we're playing super flex. So running back just has the least amount of value in our settings. So, but yeah, I think it's a decent team. Like I said, I'd be going after quarterbacks sooner rather than later. I mean, Allen is 26, but he's good for like 5 years at least, if not longer, right? Tight end, like I said, just like to get a rookie sprinkled in or a second-year guy. Receiver, I don't hate. I'm used to, like, usually I'd have another receiver over Hawkinson, for example, or over Kelsey. So, yeah. Decent team. Why not? Nick, I agree the quarterback could be bad for the team. Yeah. Draft of the night. J-Dubs, I do really like your team. I do. I liked Cat's team a lot. Just didn't feel 100% confident in the receivers. I actually like Klondike's team, but I just would have liked to see some more youth at receiver towards the end. And you're probably drafting a quarterback next year. So, those are probably up there for me for the night. I like Taylor's team too, but quarterback's just a little queasy. But I don't know, I thought you guys all drafted well. For sure. Oh, it's so close though. I might go with Cats. I just so close. I feel like there were notes on everyone's teams tonight though. J-Dub says, I had to disagree, John. I don't really need a rookie wide receiver considering most of my wide receivers are very young. I could even withstand a full rebuild. I think that's fair. 100%. I think the bigger point I was getting at is like just like not from the perspective of you don't have young enough guys. And maybe you're right. I didn't use the right terminology when I said specifically a rookie receiver. But maybe just a little bit more depth would have been the better way to say it. Because going back to when I was going over your team, like you just look at guys like Judy who have an injury history, have some holes. You look at Burks who has some holes. And you look at Higgins who, I mean, part of it's Zach Taylor starting him, he shouldn't start and things like that. But, you know, just in case. Because I love this receiver room, don't get me wrong. And you're right. You know, Burks is 23. Judy's 23, Higgins 24, Lamb is 23, and JJ's 23. You're completely right about that. So it's a completely fair point, but maybe just a little bit more depth towards the end. And that's kind of like going with that late round running back build. You're really loading up, so I get that too, right? Going late round tight end, you're making sure you get 3 guys, you know. And we only did 8 bench spots to the 10. So in the 10 bench spot build, you probably would have had, you know, another receiver or 2, right? I mean, I don't even think like Shaheed went off the board, so you probably would have drafted him, right? But that's all. I love your receiver room, don't get me wrong, man. Let's see. Thomas, I do like your team. I just get a little queasy long-term at quarterback. That's really it. I thought you got really good receiver value throughout the draft. Very young receiver room. So like I said, I just like to see a veteran sprinkled in there. Just in case you get into a position where you don't have a lot of stability. And like I said, you're set at running back for sure. Let's see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that'll do it. Yeah, it's late. So do me a favor, hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button. Of course, you guys are new to the channel. All that good stuff. Check out the links down below. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord. All that good stuff. And that'll wrap it up for the night. Sorry, I'm like looking at a couple things. Realizing that I'm tired. Realizing I have to work tomorrow. So, thank you guys so much for spending part of your night here on the channel, for mock drafting with me, and for talking fantasy. So, be sure to post your guys' teams on Discord for further community review. And that's going to do it for the night. Thomas, J-Dubs, Nick, Katz, Walido, Taylor, Klondike, Michael, Smokey the Cat, Tox, Box and the Jack, Chase, Coast to Coast, After the Review Sports, and everyone else who stopped by or listening. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, talking fantasy, hanging out for the night. I wish J-Dubs, I wish. We'll see what happens this year. Wouldn't count on it, though. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. That's going to wrap it up. So, thank you guys again for everything that you guys do for the channel, for the community here in the off season. And let me know if you guys need anything on Discord or Instagram. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Thank you guys so much for drafting with me, hanging out, all that good stuff. So, with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And